Well, welcome back. Our home decorating series continues this morning. I'm actually joined by Ruxana Uzman again. She's here to talk about accessorizing with art. Again, I fail at this miserably, Ruxana. What do we do? What, especially us guys, do wrong?
Well, first of all, we have to figure out what we want our walls to say. They really need to tell the story.
So they talk.
They talk.
Believe it or not.
One thing that's very important when you're thinking about accessorizing your walls is really find something that's relevant to you and your family. I frequently say that we need the walls to tell your story.
Right, and you see a lot of people who just walk into a place, an interior design place, buy any random art for their walls.
That's right. It matches, and you know, designers are happy when it matches, but sometimes it doesn't really speak to the client, right, and it doesn't tell the family story. So that's step one, is make sure that the art is relevant to you.
So you've got something personal, but then there's also, I know, wrong ways and right ways to hang art.
There are. Well, first of all, you want to stay away from nails. Nails will not hold the weight of most pieces of art. You're laughing because you do that, right?
Right, all the time. All of us do.
The physics of these actual little hangers is that one of these with a nail will hold approximately 30 pounds. Now that's much more than a nail by itself.
But I'm looking at, you've got these, and this just looks confusing.
They are confusing. These are traditional plate hangers, and when you're kind of short on art, it's always great to maybe pick up some plates or platters that you have in your china hutch, and these can actually be placed on the wall. So instead of these, which are a mess and frequently will ruin your plate, you can get these, which are amazing adhesive plate hangers, and they stick on the back. You let them sit overnight, and then you hang them, and there's no marks that are going to be on the plate, and you don't have to worry about any of those catching.
How about these? These look also very cheap, plastic.
Well, these are temporary 3M hooks, and I use these when I'm going to be decorating the side of a china hutch or something that I don't necessarily want to put nails into. But I do have to warn you, you have to be very cautious about the weight restriction on these, because I, for one, have lost some valuable pieces of glass because they've broken.
So watch your weight.
Yes.
Well, now we've learned what to use, but there's also, people make a big mistake when they hang art, and the number one mistake is?
Hanging art too high.
All right, well, let's head over here and figure out how to do that.
Okay.
What do we do here?
Well, one of the things that is my number one complaint when I walk into a home is that art is hung too high.
All right, so what's the rule? How high do you want to hang it?
The rule of thumb is that the middle of the art should be at eye level. So you don't want to look up and you don't want to look down. So for the average household, the center of a piece of art should be 57 inches off the ground.
So here's the question I always struggle with too, is do you want things to line up symmetrically? Do you want them off kilter?
The rule of thumb is that when you stack pieces of art, as you can see here, it's 2 over 2, it's much more elegant and much more visually pleasing than doing a zigzag or something on a diagonal. That's perfectly acceptable for a staircase, but not the best option if you're looking at a plain wall. You want to make sure that the distance between two pieces of art is approximately 2 inches in terms of the width. And then in terms of anchoring a piece, whether it be a dresser or a console or a side table, you want to make sure that the pieces of art are anchored to the
console.
Console, thank you. And so you're looking about 6 inches above the console, never more than that. Typically people place it a foot above the console, and that no longer even anchors that piece of furniture.
All right, more to come tomorrow.